Hey guys, happy Monday. It feels odd to say happy Monday because I'm usually doing my lives on Tuesdays, but I'm trying something new, see if it fits better with my family schedule and my work schedule. So we're going to try it here on Mondays for a little bit. Plus, I was going on Dr. Barry's channel so much on Mondays and doing different things. It made sense to make it on Monday. But I may be doing some on Tuesdays, like the August 5th event that is going to be at the library. Yes, all the tickets are sold out, but I'm going to be broadcasting it live on my channel. So that week, the week of August 5th, join me on Tuesday for that one. Only a couple of announcements. The first one, and it is the biggest one, remember, Low Carb for Better Health is coming up just around the corner. It's literally less than 2 months away. I am so excited for this event. Guys, I finalized the food for it this weekend. It's going to be yummy. I can't wait to eat it. I can't wait to share it with the attendees that are there. I can't wait to see all the vendors and to celebrate getting together with so many friends that I've made over the last 4 years of doing this conference. So if you don't have your ticket yet, or if you have no clue what I'm talking about, go check it out at lc4bh.com. That's LC, the number 4bh.com. You can get your tickets. There's a sample schedule or the rough schedule that's there. There's also the link to get the lodging so that you can stay at the beautiful Montgomery Bell State. Hopefully I'm back. I don't know what just happened. It just kind of kicked me out and now I'm back. But okay. The other announcement that I have for today is if you are in the Middle Tennessee area, if you're in the Dixon area specifically, you know that school is starting back on Friday. I am a little excited for this. My kids are actually excited about it. They can't wait to see their friends that they've missed all summer, but I am offering a discount. It's a back to school discount. We do this thing, it's called a McB shot. It's a lot of B vitamins and amino acids. It helps to boost immunity, helps to burn some body fat, helps to give you energy. So anyone, whether you have to be an adult, but any adult, whether you're a teacher or not, can come into the clinic this week and get a McB shot for $15. That's $5 off the normal price. Drop in, get your shot, get a boost of energy, boost that metabolism, boost that immune system before we head back into the school season. So those are the only announcements that I have. Now let's move on to the content that I have for you today. I'm excited about this because I'm on a personal learning journey and a personal exploration journey to learn about alternative medicine type things. I've spent the first 20 years of practice using just regular pharmaceutical things, the last 10 years, pharmaceuticals plus nutrition. But now I want to see what else is out there. What else can I offer clients to help their aging, to help their longevity, to help their vitality, and even to repair maybe some of the damage that they've done to their bodies, or I've even done to my body in the years before I started really paying attention to my health. So I've been diving into the world of peptides, and I've used peptides a lot when it comes to weight, thinking like GLP-1 peptides. That's a whole nother conversation. I've done lots of videos on it, but I want to look at things like CJC and there are a whole bunch of letters. But anyway, the first place that I came to was actually one called NAD+. And this isn't a peptide at all. It just kind of gets lumped into treatments when people are doing a lot of peptide therapy. But that's what we're going to talk about today is NAD+. What is it? The pros, the cons, what I think its clinical utilization should be. Basically, what have I learned in my research and can I pass on to you so that you can decide if this is something that you may want to explore on your own. So let's start with what it really is. It is a big, long word, and I'm going to do my best to get it out, but sometimes the countrified girl comes out and it doesn't come out the way it's supposed to be pronounced. So NAD+ is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. So all you science nerds can just start ripping me a new one for not saying it correctly, but I got it out. And from here forward, we're going to say NAD+ because that was a whole big mouthful. So it is a coenzyme that is present in all living cells. So your body is made up of trillions and trillions of cells. Every one of those needs NAD+. It is essential for cellular metabolism or the work of the cell and energy production. Now, it's specifically talking about energy production, but what I want you to grasp from the very beginning is whatever happens at a little level ends up happening at a big level. So if at a little level you have really crummy energy production in your cells, once it gets to the big level where you're actually feeling it as far as your energy for the day, it's not going to be very effective if your cell at the cell level, it's not working well. So NAD acts like a shuttle service for the electrons, moving charges, moving energy into your cells. It plays a critical role in something called redox reactions. And you don't need to truly understand what a redox reaction is, but it's a chemical reaction. It's something that happens between chemicals where the electrons or the charges are transferred from one molecule to another. So it's the movement of energy across. That reaction creates something called NADH. So NADH is a reduced form of NAD+. NADH delivers energy directly to the mitochondria. And this is a big word that's in metabolic health right now. We're talking about it's a big buzzword. We're knowing that mitochondrial dysfunction plays a role in just about every illness that is out there. But for some of you, you haven't heard the word mitochondria since, 8th grade science. If that's you, basically your mitochondria is where the work of the cell is done. It's the engine. It's the driver of every cell. So remember, whatever happens there on a little level in each individual cell ends up happening throughout your body at a big level. So NAD+ has 3 predominant pathways for which it is essential for energy production. The first is glycolysis. So this is the breakdown of glucose to produce 2 fuel forms called ATP and that NADH that we just talked about. So you can use glucose for fuel. It's breaking it down into these energy forms that then the cells can use. NAD+ is essential for that. The next energy pathway is the TCA cycle or the Krebs cycle. And this is a further breakdown of the process of glycolysis. It also has the breakdown of things like ketones and things in there, which is an alternative energy source. But the goal of this is to produce more NADH, that fuel source for the cells. And then the third pathway is oxidative phosphorylation, another big word, but basically it's where NADH is used to generate an even larger amount of that other fuel source, ATP, which is the cell's main energy source. So basically, we're talking about something that is crucial for your body to operate appropriately, to operate like it's supposed to, and give you energy on a little level so you can have energy on a big level. So beyond this role of metabolism, NAD also serves as a substrate for something called sirtuins and PARPs, other big things. But these are responsible for something you're going to be interested in. That is DNA repair. Okay, we all have DNA throughout our whole body. If it gets damaged, bad things happen. That's one way that cancers can form. It's one way when cardiovascular things can form. It's even how we start to show wrinkles on our pretty faces. By this DNA repair not happening. This plays also a role in gene expression. So if you have a genetic tendency to something and it's expressed in a certain way, well, if it's a bad thing, you don't want it overexpressed. So it regulates that gene expression. And it plays a role in cellular stress response. So the effects of stress, not just like emotional stress, but injury stress at a very, very small level. So the last things that I think I want you to know about NAD as far as what it's responsible for is it is required to regulate calcium signaling in the body. So calcium signaling goes into heart rate. It also goes into whether our blood vessels expand or contract. And it can go into things like muscle cramps, whether you have them or not, and plays a role. So NAD+ also plays a role in circadian rhythms, that sleep-wake cycle that controls a lot of the rest of our body. So it's responsible for a whole lot of things. Sounds like it's pretty important. The thing is we all have NAD+ from a young age. And then as we age, it just kind of withers away. And as it withers away, all those things that it plays a role in get worse. So it plays a role in various disease states, metabolic dysfunction, so controlling our blood sugars because it goes in that glycolysis process, impaired DNA, so things like that wrinkles that I was talking about, in any age-related disease. So I'm thinking even things like dementia. I'm going to put a blanket warning across the rest of this talk, and that's that everything that I've seen research-wise for NAD plus has been on supplementing the precursors or the things needed to make NAD plus and not making NAD plus directly or not giving it directly. However, in my mind, if the research that is giving you the things to make more of this naturally, then in turn helps you make more of it naturally and gives you positive benefits, then giving it to you directly should give you positive benefits as well. But I'll be honest, we don't know because the research is not there. So let's talk about the benefits of when you were given the precursors to NADH. What happens? We see an improvement in glucose. That's an important thing because glucose is one of the drivers of all chronic diseases. Improvement in lipid metabolism, so your cholesterol metabolism, are you able to do that more effectively? It reduces oxidative stress that can lead to cell tissue damage. It attenuates, hear me out, it attenuates diet-induced weight gain negative effects. So it doesn't completely do away with all the negative effects with diet-induced weight gain, but it can help kind of mitigate or reduce some of those. And we are still seeing, or in the research, we're seeing that it increases or protects against age-related metabolic conditions, cardiovascular conditions, and neurodegenerative things. And we see as we age, cardiovascular disease and neurodegenerative things become more common, MS, Parkinson's, heart attacks, strokes, all of those things. But it looks like if you're given more of NADH or the precursor to make NADH, those things are reduced. So the important thing that the research does clearly show is that when you're increasing or taking in these precursors, we haven't seen a negative really with them. They've been shown to be safe when taken in the oral precursor form. They've not seen any negative real side effects in the blood level or at the tissue specific level. It just hasn't been seen. We have seen some other added benefits that we didn't really think we would see, which was a reduction in blood pressure, which doesn't make sense if it controls the calcium, and calcium controls the vessels and the pressure that's on those vessels. Makes sense to me. We saw that the lipid improvement was more specific to older adults than it was younger adults. We also saw it could prevent kidney injury. When I say we, I mean the people that did studies. I obviously didn't do them. I just read them. But it can prevent kidney injury. It can suppress inflammation from certain conditions like Parkinson's. So there's that neurodegenerative stuff and COVID. And if you remember, there was more than just the cold and flu symptoms to COVID. There was this huge inflammatory response and even some weird neurological things. I saw migraines come out. I saw seizures come out, the taste and smell stuff that all was related with it. So there was a lot of stuff that was going on with COVID that probably had to do with damage at the cell at the mitochondrial level. And maybe that's why this NAD is helping. Then lastly, we've seen this especially in middle-aged adults in the research. It improves insulin sensitivity, which is a great thing for preventing chronic health issues, reduces fatigue, which if you're in your middle age like me, you got some fatigue going on because you're running here, there, and everywhere. And it's just been shown to help increase vitality. So the risk, not much research out there, but like I said earlier, they didn't really see a lot of risk with it. The precursors were well tolerated. They had low incidence of adverse effects, but there is little to none long-term safety data. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, because there's not a lot of research on this, we don't know optimal doses. So you're just having to depend on someone who has experience using it and a lot of trial and error on other people to make sure that we get your dose, duration, and specific amount that you need right to you. There are some theoretical risks, things that the science said this plausibly could happen, kind of like what I was saying, plausibly giving NADH directly could give you the same effects as giving you the precursors to make more NADH. So this is another plausible thing. But they think that you could have an increase in toxic metabolites. So as the cell's doing its thing and you got extra junk because there is waste from every process in the body. There's also a theoretical concern that it could promote tumorigenesis, so the growth of tumors. I know that sounds scary, but if it's creating cells, helping with anti-aging and helping regeneration happen, and you already have a cancer on board, I can understand why theoretically it could make that cancer grow faster. But there again, this is theory. This is not proven, and we really do need long-term research to get into the weeds of this. Now, since the precursors are all that have been studied, let's talk about what they are and how you could get them without necessarily even taking a supplement. So there's a dietary way to get the precursors for NAD+. There's also the supplement way. So the supplements are taking something like, it's called nicotinamide and nicotinic acid and nicotinamide riboside. Big words. These are forms of vitamin B3, and they're normally found in foods like milk, vegetables, and meat. And those support the natural production of NAD+. So if you regularly consume milk, vegetables, and meat, then it's been shown to increase your natural production of various levels of NAD+. And this has been seen in human studies and in other preclinical studies. Exercise or regular physical activity is another way to stimulate NAD+. So acute exercise, and this was seen in a study, acute exercise increases the expression of those enzymes in the NAD salvage pathway. So instead of getting rid of the NAD and leaving, it gets it back into the body. But it leads to more NAD+ in the at the cellular level. And they saw this specifically with immune cells and skeletal cells in the research. It's tiny studies, but they did find it. You could also take some coenzymes. These are that PARBs that we mentioned earlier, and the I'm not going to remember, but CD38 is another one. If you want to look at taking those directly, I think that CD38 is being regulated now and is not out there, but the PARPs are, or just eat the food that helps you make it. I think that is the bigger response. And when I took a step back, I was looking at the natural things we can do, the exercise, milk, meat, and vegetables, minus maybe the milk on my low carb diet. Okay, eat low carb, exercise regularly, manage your sleep, manage your stress. Those are all the things that help you with NAD+. But nevertheless, it still goes down as we age. And what could we do about it? Well, there's another way to supplement NAD+, and that is injectable or IV. There is not research on this. The research that was done was basically to prove that when you injected it or infused it, it got into your body and then stayed in your body long enough to do anything. That's really the only research that's been done. They didn't look at outcomes. But going back to kind of my theoretical thinking, it is reasonable to believe that if you inject it or if you infuse it, it would result maybe in a faster and possibly more effective treatment than just taking the precursors that then have to turn to NAD+, that then have to get into the body and keep going. I think you might get my thought process there. So let's talk about my personal experience. We've talked about some pros. They got a lot of good pros. Sounds exciting to me. I have plenty of patients who would like to see their blood pressure better, their anti-aging routine better. They would like to see, less inflammation in their body, better cognition. I mean, it works at the cells. So I have lots of patients who would want all of those things. My main interest with it, once I first read it, was more on a personal level. I wanted, yes, my vanity, some skin anti-aging type stuff, but I really wanted to target inflammation. I've talked about the fact that I've had psoriasis for a long time. I got it almost cleared out with some medication, yes, but then going carnivore and getting off of that medication, and then some stress brought it back. I've had this little patch in the back of my scalp for a couple of years now that I just cannot get to go away, regardless of how good I get on my diet back. It just won't go away. So I thought, well, if this helps to decrease inflammation, it helps to heal the cells at a cellular level, it helps with anti-aging and skin rejuvenation, then why not give it a try? Okay, so I did. I chose to go with the injectable route. One, I just don't like taking a whole bunch of supplements, and in my little sciencey brain, this made the most sense to me, even though there wasn't a ton of research with it. Caveat here. If you choose to do an NAD experiment with yourself, if you choose to try it, work with a provider. Don't just go buy some random NAD plus injectable off the internet that who knows where it came from, who knows the quality. So I purchased from a legitimate compounding pharmacy, a 503B compounding pharmacy. They are regulated, they are monitored. I know that their stuff is clean just because of the regulation that they submit themselves to. So if you decide to do this, work with a provider. If you want to work with us, I'm happy to help you figure this out. But don't just go buy random junk from the internet. You might get random junk out of it, and that's not a good thing for your body. What I did with my protocol is I've used it only for about 2.5 weeks now. The first week I did a loading dose to kind of get it in the system. And then since then I've been doing a higher dose for 5 out of 7 days a week. And that's the general protocol that I've seen across the science and across where other people have used it. This medicine is not meant to be taken forever and ever, amen. It's meant to be pulsed. So it gives you a boost in this. And I could see where if you're just constantly hammering NAD, it could potentially over stress some cells in a weird way because it's stimulating too much regeneration. But it's not meant to be taken forever. It's meant to be pulsed. Another reason why you need to work with somebody and not just buy it off the internet and do your own self-exploration, because you need to make sure you do it as safe as possible. What I've noticed so far is an improvement in my complexion. I am now in my mid-40s and I've started looking at anti-aging routines because I don't like things that are happening, even though I say, yes, my husband tells me I'm beautiful and I believe him, but things that I don't like. So yes, complexion, about a week and a half in, I started noticing a more brightness to it and less of the tiredness to my eyes and some of the wrinkling that was there. But more than that, I started to notice the thickening on the spot of my problem psoriasis area has started to go down. That was huge. It also didn't feel irritated. If you have psoriasis, you know that plaque, when it's there, it feels like it's pulling the skin and it just feels irritated. So that sensation is gone. I think there's still a little bit there. I can't see at the back of my scalp because it's on the back of my head. Even though my kids think I have eyes on the back of my head, I don't. But I can feel the difference that's there. Also, while not attempting to lose weight, I did lose 2 pounds. I have eaten the same way. My diet is very consistent. My exercise has been pretty consistent for what it has been. And I did just randomly lose 2 pounds about the 2-week mark into taking this medicine. I have used NAD Plus with clients as well. And the clients that I have used it on have reported things like increased energy, increased cognitive processing, improved mood, anxiety, or depression, decreased inflammation, whether it is joint or skin or just overall feeling, they've seen that improvement. I've only had one client that reported any type of negativity, and they just felt more emotional when they first started taking this. So what I decided to do is we stopped therapy and we restarted titrating at a lower dose, and I believe it's being tolerated better. Where I choose to use it in my practice moving forward, what I'm looking at is for clients who are looking for that mood or cognitive boost. So like postmenopausal women or men starting testosterone that want a quicker boost, or even just people who don't want to take hormones but feel like they're just in that kind of cloud or that fog. Let's give them a boost. Clients who are using my T-shape machine, so the body sculpting machine that I added, it's going to be great. If it's improving complexion, if it's tightening of skin, why not add the NAD Plus on while they're doing the therapy and see if we can't boost that and get even more effects. And then really for those looking for that anti-aging routine, maybe twice a year they want to do this. And then lastly, clients who already suffer from some diseases like blood pressure, hyperlipidemia, or elevated cholesterol that's dysfunctional, neurodegenerative conditions, like if we're having some early cognition issues, I could see where pulsing this here and there could be of great benefit for, from that aspect. So that's kind of where it's my personal use. That is where I plan to use it in my practice. There's used some basics on what it is. I recommend that you go do your own research and then come back and talk to your provider. Or if you want a provider, come back and talk to me and we can discuss the positives and negatives for your individual case on whether or not you should be trying NAD Plus. And if you want to contact me, there's my email address. Just give us a shout. We'll let you know if we're licensed in your state, or our website just got updated this last week and all of the states are there on the website and also on our Facebook page. So you can check us out. All right, guys, I hope this has been a good conversation. If you have questions, please holler at me. I would love to try to answer them and get your ticket for Low Carb for Better Health so I can meet you in person and spend some time socializing with you on a downtime on a weekend in a beautiful location. Until next week, be healthy, guys.